So I'd like to call a meeting of the planning board of the town of Newbury, and on Wednesday, November 16th, 2016. My name is John Weiss, and to my left.
Oh,
Far
hey,
left.
John O'Reilly.
Far left.
Jim Robinson.
George Morris.
Elizabeth Mitchell.
Pete Pecos.
Martha Taylor, town
We've only been
planner.
doing this 200 times.
I know.
Takes a while.
I know. So we did get minutes from the 7th, which was the meeting where we talked about Wilshire and 255 High Road. Has anyone had a chance? Have you all read those minutes?
Yes.
And if so, are there any comments, or do we have a motion to approve?
I move to approve the minutes of September 7, 2016, as drafted.
Second.
Second. Any comment on them at all? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Then on the 14th, which was the site visit with Mark Piro, and who else was with him?
He was there by himself.
Oh, he was there by himself?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we had just 3 board members there.
Talking about the request he had made for the garage in the rear. So have you all had a chance to take a look at those minutes?
Yes.
Yes.
And can I have a motion on that, please?
I move the board approve the minutes of September 14, 2016, as drafted.
A second, please.
Second.
Any comment? No? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I did note that it is now under construction substantially.
Yeah, he has started.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't think he started the garage though yet, but the house is under construction.
Right.
Yeah.
And so both of you basically have seen.
Yes.
I didn't vote.
Yeah.
I didn't vote. Because I wasn't there. Mr. Cannon? There you go. You want to, you're from the governor's.
We're from the governor's.
Nice meeting you.
Long time no see.
This is
Are you the new Nick?
I'm the new Nick.
Yeah, my name's Tom Woodruff. He's
Hi,
the new
Tom.
maintenance and
Nice meeting you.
building
That's all.
building head. We're here to talk about the South Campus.
Okay.
We have some reports on the old.
Do you want to
road.
pull up a chair and just sit there? Both of you?
Since it's only us.
Might be a lot easier.
Can I pull this just forward then?
Sure. Well, you want to do it so that, although I know
Moving
that they
forward
can
might
never
even be
see it.
better.
Yeah. You know what, leave it there because,
Leave it
yeah, that's fine.
We're attached to each
So you want to put it right here? You know what? Well, why don't you just bring and put it right here?
Good.
Perfect.
Just to give you the history, in 1961, Old Road was approved as a subdivision by the Newbury Planning Board. One of the covenants that they approved it was that it would be improved at the expense of the academy and maintained by the academy. It varies we've prepared a report. This actually now comes down to the old right-of-way onto Elm Street. So Elm Street is through this area. And the dormitories are in this position. Over the years, the academy has bought every house that's in the area except for the 2 that are on the corner. So they have all of the property, which goes all the way back to the Woodbury property in the rear, which is on Coleman Road. This is the current condition. We've located the wetlands areas. They've been okayed by the Conservation Commission. So we come in the upper part around the corner. The roadway width varies from anywhere from 13 to 23 feet. Average is about 18 feet. second portion. Here's large wetland area that comes along Elm Street with the main entrance to the academy right over through here. And the footbridge from the dormitories is in this area. So we own all the housing on the street as well. What we're looking to do, we've been kind of master planning this area for quite some time. We've located the loop trail and the cross-country trail to the rear. This property goes, again, ways back, right back to the river. This trail is a intermediate trail that was a level of effort by a couple of teachers in this area. So it's not part of the actual cross-country trail. This is where the cross-country trail comes in. So what we're proposing to do is, over the years, the housing has created odd lot lines, odd shapes, odd areas, and then Newbury brought in OSPD or OSID zoning, which makes a great fit for this type of housing and this type of use. So what we'd like to do is, down the road here in the next few months, is really look at the existing housing and proposed faculty housing that we need probably within, what, 10 to 15 years?
Right.
To
2030.
meet the needs of the 20 to 30 goals that have been set by the board. And we've identified these areas here. We need basically about 6 to 8 more units of housing. We have an immediate need for two units, which we have to have occupied ready for occupancy by July 1st of next year. So we went out and identified the best areas to build, and that happens to be right in this area here, where the roadway is actually its best width. It ranges from 21 to 23 feet. It's in fairly decent condition. So if you look at it from an overall standpoint, the profiles work. They're pretty much within the guidelines of the current subdivision control law. And design speeds, we selected a design speed for this roadway at 20 miles per hour. One of the recommendations we've made is that the road be posted. We'll post the road for 20 miles an hour. Working with Martha and Doug Packer from the Concom, we've looked at the areas, again, designated the wetlands, done the topography, and we can propose, what we'd like to do is propose for now so that we can get under construction and get these buildings occupied for our needs by July 1st, is 2 Form A lots off an approved subdivision road, where the roadway is fairly decent and actually meets today's standards.
Woody, what's your width there right now, the paved width?
21 to 23 feet
21 to 22?
from here to here.
But it's all gravel,
Here,
right?
No, it's
No,
paved.
it's
all
paved, okay.
It's all in that report. It's
Okay.
paved. The narrow section is about 13 feet out through here, and it's about 17 to 18 feet. There is a smaller area down below that's a little bit narrower, but then it widens out right by the dormitories. So it's very easy to come in. The way you come in can go out is this way, for right now. So our thought is to approach the planning board to look at this as a Form A submittal. The remainder of the land, which was one of our concerns, and after we all looked at it, there's plenty of frontage here to meet the zoning, so the rest of the land would be just remaining land, but have a legal frontage to it. So we don't have to worry about access points or vital access or anything. So that's the approach we would like to take. We're thinking of siting, we've looked at a couple of areas to site the houses, either right off the roadway, where there'll be some grading required, or up on top. And we still haven't determined that as yet. If it's up on top, then we've got to file with the Concom as well. If they're down below here, then we don't. So we're going to work that out with the home builders that are being chosen to do these homes. So the overall plan, from the standpoint of, again, here's Elm Street. This goes all the way back. This is only a portion of what the land is, but we would look at, this is like a, you know, first blush of a yield plan. This would be a roadway that was greater than the 500 feet under the zoning, but then again, it fits in the middle of the cross-country trail, so we don't have to destroy the cross-country trail at all. But we would be coming over the next few months and working with the boards on an OSPD for the entire South Campus, where most of it is going to remain open space. And the rest would be the result of giving us a potential location for our additional housing. And we would be counting, obviously, the existing housing we own as units. So we understand the process. We've done a lot of OSRD and OSPD. So we've got a long way to go. We've got to do the concept plan that meets the criteria. But this kind of looks like the way we go, but not create lot lines. I think what we ultimately come up with is placement of houses in single-family houses on the property without lot lines, but massive open space.
Including no lot lines here?
Yeah, what we do is distinguish all of the lot lines, because we have, from where they developed years ago, we've got lot lines for houses that cross this right of way. We don't know how that happened, but we think because of the fact that they were just trying to show that they had frontage on Elm Street. Because that's the way, these are the way the assessors lines go. So what we wanted to do was do an OSRD for the housing for the Governor's Academy, not worrying about the lot lines. Obviously, we have to meet the criteria for conventional yield plan and all that, which we think we can pretty easily do. A little more clear drawing of this one here.
So again, this is just a yield plan.
This is more or less a yield plan for a cluster.
Mhm.
We can actually show a heck of a lot more units available, because you could go in and move out.
And you're implying that the cross-country trail remains because it's all your property anyway?
Correct. And we don't, and it's a great course.
Do you have another course on the other side, behind the ice rink? Or am I wrong?
There's some trails back there.
Well,
Just trails, but it's not a
We were,
course?
it is,
we
it's
were
all-
looking
it's
at
all
one
part of the
time
course.
to connect, when we got the Duff property,
Right,
we were looking at connecting the cross-country trail to Triton,
right.
and never could get the parties together.
We understand that.
And that's what happened. That's where it was gonna go.
Right, but
That's where it was gonna go.
the official cross-country trail goes on both sides of Elm Street,
Right.
because it goes back along the river and past Christiana Morgan's house.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So you would like to move forward on two
Lots.
two buildings, like right now?
Correct.
And then come back in when? In the spring for OSRD or
We'd
right
be
away?
starting immediately. What we'd like to do is, we're proposing that we improve the roadway to the standard we can agree with the board. We'd like to do that over time, just because of the way the budget works. But we have a complete redesign of the roadway.
That would not get built until after the houses are built, is that
The
the plan?
first two, we would be.
Okay, so,
We'll do it
But
as
you
part
would
of
do
the
them
overall
before
SPD.
you would do the road before you build the rest of the OSRD?
Right, what we'd like to do is do it over time with the OSRD. As part of, so it'd be a condition of the OSRD.
you're into the academy sewer plant, right? Yep.
We already have permission to enter for this number of units.
But
We have permission to enter for this this number of units that we're requiring. We've been doing a lot of infiltration and flow, getting a lot of flow out of it.
Mhm.
So we're already approved for that.
Martha, were you involved at all with any other projects that governors did? And, I mean, this whole idea of really having no lot lines, I suppose, is okay. I just have no experience with it.
Well, George, I mean, that's somewhat similar to Colby Village, really. There are no lot lines. You've got exclusive
There's
use
exclusive use lines
areas.
around, under the OSRD, there's a lot that is exclusive use property in the common area.
Right, but the entire thing is one
Yes, it is.
property.
Well, that's the same with Caldwell, isn't it?
Right,
That's
the
just one
difference-
property.
Right. The difference is Colby Village, and this would be single-family
So-
detached.
That's
homes.
very different, that's right. Okay. Well, it's probably, I'm glad to hear that you have the need to build more faculty housing. That's good.
Yeah, we've got some single teachers in 4-bedroom housing.
Yeah.
It's,
If you were to change your doggone name back to a sensible one, you know?
I was around when that controversy hit.
What's that?
I was around when that controversy hit.
Oh, yeah. One guy.
So have you met with
Like
Sam
Morgan.
and about this in terms of moving forward with
Yeah,
your
our
single
initial
family?
meeting we had with Sam and Doug and
Okay. What was their reaction?
I think it was basically, move forward. I
Yeah.
don't think there was any issue. And as Woody said, the Concom has approved the NRAD for the property. And Doug has reviewed this proposed A&R.
He has.
Yeah.
continue this.
And do we have it officially submitted? No.
No, the
Probably
idea
our
is
next
to.
meeting.
Okay.
Right.
All right,
We wanted to get your input first.
thanks.
I was curious, Woody, when you come in with the two Form A lots, they will have sidelines and identified as lots,
Correct.
and then that would be extinguished and everything comes
When
up.
you-
That's our plan because we own all
Okay.
the property anyway.
So they'd stay that
Lot
way
lines are kind of
until,
superfluous
they'd stay that way until you do the OSRD.
until we have
Okay.
an OSID approved.
Because of the.
And you retain ownership of everything.
Yes.
Do we have, Martha, a record of this being accepted, just out of curiosity?
There is a subdivision plan.
You've got that, okay. I don't need to see it, I was just asking.
Take that
That's it? Okay.
from the registry.
Standards were a little different then, right?
Yeah, it was signed by John O'Connell in 1961.
Probably.
Get
yeah.
out of here.
Not 1950.
Right there it is, right there, John O'Connell, there you go.
Well,
Funny that I was just telling Tom that I worked with Clint Goodwin for several years when he first got out of college. He was an amazing fellow. He was a registered land surveyor, registered professional engineer, and a registered architect.
Who were you talking about?
Clint Goodwin.
Oh, Clint, yeah.
He
Yeah, he was
died
a
at the
Renaissance
drafting
man.
table- died at the
He lived to be
drafting
about
table at
127 too.
97 years old.
Yeah, he was out swinging an axe in his 90s, cutting brush.
Anybody have any further comments or thoughts?
I'm all set.
Good.
Guess we send you on your merry way.
We will proceed. We'll see you
Proceed.
next meeting.
Comment on your last
Thank you for doing it, thank you for doing
driveway,
it.
roadway renovation.
Oh, sure.
Looks wonderful.
Thanks,
Really,
yeah.
really
I
nice.
came in, I
Which
started.
is it, you mean through the campus?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I
They
drive
take
there all the
credit for it, but I
time.
had no part in it. Just watch them clean up. It does look great, thanks.
It was a mess before.
It was,
Yeah,
it was.
yeah.
So this is a summary of what you're up to. That's
That's a
right.
summary of the condition of Old Road and our recommendations for it. Which,
The background information, yeah.
yeah, we wanted to make sure that you were satisfied with the vital access issue.
Sure.
And are there enough copies of that for all the board members?
I can keep a copy, I can make one copy if you need.
You need 6 or 7?
We need 6,
We have 5 here.
unless do you have one already?
I've got one.
So we
You
need
have
6.
one already.
This is
This is
changed.
updated.
Oh, it's changed,
We
okay.
updated it with the comments you had.
So-
Earlier, Tom, and I thought.
How many are there?
6.
So we need one more. So, that you could look at directly to one.
This is an old
Okay.
copy.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll bring one
Same
over
one here.
when we finalize the
Okay,
format.
that's fine. And then if you could get me a copy of the form
John, are
the
you
week
working on
before, and I'll just review it.
Working
make
on
sure
this?
that
No, oh no.
It's got everything.
This is a different first page.
This was when, 59 you said?
61.
61.
Oh, 61?
This is the old.
Yeah, I was
That's the old one,
in
too.
Philadelphia
This
in
is the new
61.
one.
Oh, that's yours.
I was a freshman in high school.
Freshman, you're still a
Right,
freshman.
senior year.
You're still a damn freshman in high school.
I know, freshman and senior year, we burned the high school down. Thank you very
Long
much.
time since that basement office of yours over on Bridge Street.
Oh my,
You
Stewart,
and Mike Kazensky.
Stewart,
What was the street?
Stewart.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was when the blueprint machine blinded me. Was blind for 6 months.
Do we have the letter? I know you sent it, but I didn't. So should I just read this? Or should Elizabeth read
Well, I guess probably add a
it?
little.
Look, I was looking at you as the clerk. I know. The clerk.
Yeah, I can just say that we got.
Thanks, everyone, and have a great Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you got it.
Thank you, Ron.
Jim was thrilled with having to read the public notice last time, and he didn't have to do it.
Love to do it.
Almost ran out of wind. What, is this gonna do this again?
Well, we're good, you'll
Right,
see.
so maybe just a little background. We have received a request from the applicant or the engineer for 255 High Road subdivision to continue until the planning board's next meeting. So the hearing will not be open tonight. And
I guess a further part of that, thank you for, was that Martha and George and I were able to sit down with the applicant and his engineer and John Kennedy and Nate to talk about the many issues that we brought up at our last meeting.
And I don't think we can say anything else
That's it?
since the public hearing's not open.
Should we open the meeting first?
No, we can't.
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 We just operate on
It's being
this.
continued. And that they're addressing this.
We can say that they're addressing issues.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. And that's it.
Go, Jim.
Okay. So, this is dated November 15, 2016, to the Newbury Planning Board regarding definitive subdivision 255 High Road, Adam Chase True Real Estate Development LLC. Dear members of the board, on behalf of the owner, we hereby request that the November 16th hearing be continued until your next scheduled meeting on December 7th, while we address comments from the last hearing. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact our office. Signed by Scott P. Cameron, P.E.
So does anyone have a question regarding that letter?
No.
Pretty straightforward.
Postponed until the next,
Seven.
our next meeting.
7.
The second.
Yeah, that'll be the next one.
Okay.
And
What is this?
There's the motion, just have to decide on the time. And we do have the ERA public hearing at 7:15.
Yeah, we had one at 7:15 already, so what do we want to do, the 7:45?
7:45.
In this matter, I move that as requested by the applicant's engineer, Scott Cameron, in a letter dated November 15, 2016, the planning board continue the public hearing on the 255 High Road definitive subdivision application submitted by Adam Chase True Real Estate Development LLC to Wednesday, December 7 at 7:45 p.m.
Any comments on the motion? Can I have a second on the motion?
Second.
Any comments on the whole issue? All those in favor?
Aye.
And for the record, I abstained.
Aye. Okay, ongoing business master plan next step. Did you talk to her there?
I didn't talk to her, I
No.
sent a message.
That's fine.
I haven't heard anything back yet.
Then let's not chat about it. I mean, we did talk about this at the last meeting. We know that we have work to do and, but the problem is we haven't extended their contract.
Well, we've extended it through the end of this year, so if we want to.
And so I'm not sure if that's gonna be
Yeah,
enough,
so we should.
just based on our progress to
Right,
date.
right.
So if you, when she does call, let's have a discussion about maybe into the spring and see what happens with that.
Okay.
So meeting schedule for March 2017, I've asked to put this on. As has happened the last number of years, I will be in California for the month of February. And so, but the February 1st meeting I will be at,
Okay.
which means that February 16th, I won't. And then our next scheduled meeting
It's
in March
February 22nd.
is it,
So it's February 8th and February 22nd.
no, it would be the
Are
1st.
you talking February or March?
February. February 1st is the
Oh,
first.
oh, yeah.
Got it.
Okay, yeah.
And so the second one would be the 15th, and then George can do that. And then unfortunately, March 1st, I'm still away, so I'm asking to move the meetings back to the second and maybe fourth week, or second and fifth week in March. And that, we probably may not resolve it right now, but maybe Martha and I can work on those dates and come up with something that fits for everybody.
Good.
All right?
I have no restrictions on March to the extent that
Okay.
matters.
Okay, so, no school vacations or?
No, it's February.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll get back to you after we've looked at, maybe we think that Martha might have some issues she may have in March as well, so we'll look at what makes sense. Liaison reports, Board of Selectmen, what?
Those-
Oh, signatures, oh, you know why I skipped that?
Also, just one.
That was intentional.
It was intentional.
On the zoning, just one thing, Ginny's office is putting together some sort of guidance statement for, now that the recreational marijuana law has passed, so they're going to be putting together some guidance for their client towns and cities. And that may well be something that we should add to our list for zoning amendments in the spring. We'll know better once we get that.
By the way, I do note in the minutes that I was asked to look at the noise ordinances in other towns, and I will say that I have not done that. So I will do that this week and next. And the next thing is that you and I need to go do the tour of the hikes.
Yes.
So let's,
Yep.
after this, we'll set up a
Okay,
time.
good.
Do you gonna do that with us, or should just George and I do it?
No, I'd like to, I mean, George and I did it with Sam, but I'd like to
Go
go
and
with
do
you
it
as
again.
well.
All right?
Yeah.
So we'll do it next week. Okay. So we'll set that up.
And the other thing I'll try to do for next meeting is put together a schedule, working backwards from the Springtown meeting,
That's all
the
followed.
deadlines that we need to try to meet.
So, yeah, I don't know what I'll find. I know that many towns have noise ordinance, and they're usually successful. It may be that we can get something done in a timely fashion. We'll do the tour. I'm not sure if we'll get that done by spring, but is anybody knocking on our door on that?
It's been pretty quiet, but I think the height is a hot item still for the ZBA.
Yeah, I do too.
Sam said the noise, actually, he hasn't gotten any complaints since he brought it up with us. So that one's not as hot as it was.
Okay,
And that was mostly construction noise.
right. Well, that's because there hasn't been that much construction. And then Ginny on medical marijuana. It does say that individual towns can opt out if they want to, of not medical, but of recreational marijuana. They can hold a vote, and if the will of the town says we don't want recreational marijuana, you can zone it out.
And just the sale of it?
That, I don't know. But
Yeah,
that-
I think it's the sale, I don't think you could
Right.
do it for the growing.
The sale of it.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
So we'll find out when she gets us her opinion.
Right, I mean, even.
Rather pointless, given that, you know, kids get from one town to the other. It's not like we're,
I think it's, as with anything, it's the immediate reaction to something like this. People say, you know, we don't want it in our town. There are some towns still in Massachusetts that are dry towns,
Yeah, I can see a town like that.
Yeah.
you know?
Newbury was when I was a kid.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's why that little building right directly across the Rowley line from Newbury, That was Tyson's. It was a real dive. And of course,
On
well,
one
going on 1A towards Rowley, there's a building there. The original, the other one collapsed, but that was the beer joint for Newbury,
Wow.
because you couldn't drink in Newbury. So the Newbury's bar was 30 feet off the town
Wow.
line.
Oh, that's,
Of course, you knew everybody's car, so you could tell who was there all the time. No secrets.
okay, anything further on those? Anybody want to comment on the proposed zoning amendments or the master plan? Okay, the signature authority for planning board expenses.
So this is something that all the boards and committees that have any jurisdiction over any budget items have to do. It's been determined apparently that the board or the committee is the department head, not the staff person. So the board actually has two choices. One is to have everybody sign every expense report, timesheet, all of that.
Not a good idea.
Or to vote to have one board member designated to sign. Who
That's a good idea.
who will then,
So long as it's not you.
Yeah, John, there you go.
who will then
Like it matters to me, I won't be here, but
also have to report at the planning board meetings on the expense reports, not the amounts, but just that you signed my time sheet or you signed, an invoice.
This is, by the way, called the modernization
Yeah, jeez.
legislation by the state of Massachusetts.
To reduce paperwork.
I'm just shattered to hear that that's what they call it.
yeah.
Anyway,
It's
so-
no wonder Trump won.
Yeah,
When what the, things like this.
I mean, where does that come from? I mean, it's just inane. Anyway,
Wait
Anyway,
till you hear the Concom report for a name.
so this is,
So we have to vote for, identify and vote for a designee?
yes.
designate excuse me, an alternate.
Right, I did get the okay today from Eileen for the board to vote on an alternate in case the designated person is away or otherwise incapacitated.
And then could we also vote to give you authority to sign that person's name?
Didn't ask that.
Why don't we vote?
Little initials? Yes.
Why don't we vote, and if they say that's no good, then it's no good. Does it
Supposed to be, it's
validate it?
supposed to be an independent signature, I think.
Yeah, it is supposed to be
Well.
a committee member.
Well, I thought it was a nice idea.
We'd be signing off on Martha's
Martha's
essentially.
work, and apparently all these budget items,
Yes.
And so this
unlike
will,
every 2 weeks. That's the way I look at it.
But you get a
this,
stamp,
this will include not only planning board, but also MVPC. And I think since the planning board is really responsible for the master plan, it would be appropriate for the planning board to
Yeah.
do this rather than having a master plan committee.
But here's the silly thing, you now do all of this, am I right? So now she's gonna continue to do all of that to make it ready for me to come in and sign it.
Paperwork Reduction Act.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, am I right?
Just look at it this way. It'll give you an opportunity to speak to Martha.
I know, because I have not been coming here because it's so out of the way that I don't find myself in Highfield all that much. I mean, I used
The
to stop.
stormwater committee, I'm barking up another tree. I'm trying to see if we can abolish the committee. Not the people in it. People in it are very valuable. The committee itself, as a committee, is a pain in the neck because we have to do things like this. I'm solely responsible for the MS4 program, but I gotta get the signatures of 5 people plus 8 people who are not responsible. What? Jesus.
So, do we need a motion?
Yeah, so we need a motion to designate one of you as the primary and another of you as the alternate.
I'll volunteer to be the alternate. That takes that problem off the table.
Okay,
Because I live in Byfield.
right. So I'll be the designated.
Are we in discussion yet?
No.
Yes.
Oh,
No,
we have to
no,
have a
motion.
motion.
We'll do the motion. Can you do the
So I
motion?
move to designate John as the primary signatory for authority for planning board expenses with George as the alternate.
Okay. Any comment? Oh, wait, we need a second.
Second, question. You got, the real commitment for funds is when you write the purchase order, when you commit the funds, when you call up the contractor and say, do this, call up the engineer, whatever. This deals only with paying the bill, right?
Right.
At which point you have no damn choice. You have to pay the bill because
You're a
you
signatory.
made them do the work.
Stamp.
Huh?
It's a stamp, isn't it?
What?
I mean, you're not sitting there saying, I wouldn't pay it.
You can't, how do you say that? How does the town say they're not gonna pay it?
No, it's all been approved, and it's just a signatory.
Right, I think
Yeah.
it's just process. Eileen cannot actually write the checks unless it's been.
Yes,
the
right.
payment has been approved.
But you can commit the town to any damn thing you want, you just can't, not that you would, but you can't pay for it.
Right, but then.
And that's what I thought.
That has to go through the procurement, whatever procurement requirements there are for whatever's being
Yeah.
procured,
Yeah.
so their checks.
Well, we don't have purchase orders in this town. I mean, the stuff that we buy, we just email them and say, please send. And that's what we have been
Really?
doing.
And then you get the invoice and you
Yeah.
submit it for payment.
Sure,
Yeah.
and when we get the bill, I sign it and
Right, right.
Eileen pays it.
So there was
Okay.
a motion.
We have a motion,
Second.
any discussion, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
It's passed.
All right, so
Resolved.
you can't sign because you're not a voting member.
The meeting schedule thing, thank God. All right, now we can talk about liaison reports. I know that last night, aside from the fact that everyone was in trouble in terms of flooding, what else happened last night?
Well, Michelle gave her report on the, basically the FY15, boy, I'm off, FY18 tax recommendations. So the board did vote to maintain the uniform tax rate for commercial and residential. And it appears that the taxes, the rate is actually going to go down slightly, valuations are up a little bit, but taxes are not, are going to increase a very small amount for FY18.
When you say that, so are the receivables the same, or is the revenue slightly larger than it was?
The revenue, I think the revenue is larger. We can go up to the 2.5% tax levy.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's good.
But we've had some new growth and other things. Let's see. Tracy's report, she talked about the municipal modernization act.
Oh, you got a pen?
Is that fine for us?
That's a valuable piece of some stationery or whatever.
It is.
I can see why you don't want to lose it.
Not too much else, there was,
It says Ardif and Morris on the side. No, it doesn't. I made that up.
I have some.
Rochelle Joseph, who is part of the Support the Pink House group, came to talk about the auction that's being held tomorrow night. I don't know if any of you are planning on going.
No.
To buy the pink house?
Not to buy it,
Oh.
it's to support, it's a fundraiser for their efforts to try to do something with it, to keep the feds from demolishing it. So they're having an auction and a fundraiser at Peta Hall tomorrow night.
Where was everybody when we lost that beautiful federal building that Becker had on Little Lane? I mean, that was a significant piece of architecture.
A lot of people went to a lot of trouble to try to save
They
that.
did try
but
to
They
say.
do.
it didn't work.
But I'm just saying, but there was no, I mean, I'm looking at the balance here.
It was privately
It was
owned.
privately
I know.
owned, so he wanted to do what he wanted to do.
I know that. But not much of an intervention.
I think, well, there were efforts.
Oh, I know that. Listen, I spoke with, who owns Spencer Pierce? Is that?
Well, historic.
Historic.
Stark New England.
Right.
No, I was on the phone with them several times, but it didn't work.
Other things, just, you all got the email about the mandatory open meeting law seminar that Jimmy's gonna be giving on the 30th, 2 sessions, 2:30 and 6 o'clock. So anybody who can attend should.
That's not optional, is it? If I remember right, that was,
It was mandatory.
6 or
Thou
6:30,
I
sorry.
think it's 6, 2:30 and 6, I think, but
On
I'll,
what date, the 30th?
the 30th. And those were the most, yeah, liquor licenses and the rest of it, so that was it for the selectmen.
MVPC is down to 2 candidates to fill the position that Dennis has left. And they hope to make a decision by the 1st of December, so we'll see. We do have a meeting on the 1st to review the final recommendations and to make a recommendation to hire one of the 2 people. I've met the 2. They're both very well credentialed.
are they local? I mean, relatively Eastern
Oh,
Mass?
yeah, oh, yeah. Yeah, one person is the planning director and planning and community development director for the city of Peabody.
Oh,
And the other is the planning and community development for Andover.
Well, he used to be North Andover, he's someplace else now. I can't remember where it is.
Oh, I'm sorry. He's the town administrator for the town of, one of those small towns that's near Andover. And Tingsboro. And he's held that position for the past 3 years. He's a URI graduate in city planning. And he's been around. I mean, he's like in his late 40s. The woman who is the other candidate went to Duke and worked for Paul Salucci, her first job out of school, and spent a lot of time in the State House working for the Salucci Weld administration. And started originally with, yeah, I thought so, MassWorks.
Yes.
You know the infrastructure, and she was the initial CEO of that when it was first started. Then she went on to hold positions in Andover, and now is now at Peabody. So I was impressed. I was particularly impressed with her, but I was impressed with the other fellow as well. So either one would be good. And I think they're ready to take over within a month or 2.
Is Dennis officially retired?
He's officially retired, but he does come in once a week, and so that's it. The staff is kind of like a self-cleaning oven. They're pretty well working. But one of the first things that they're going to do is to sit down with staff and the commissioners and just take another look at the goals and objectives of the organization and compare them to MAPC and the other regional outfits and see where they differ in terms of where they've gone. An awful lot of the only concerns that I've had over the couple of years that I've been involved is that, I mean, Dennis ran a very tight ship. I mean, he really ran the place very, very well. But it didn't give a lot of give and take between commission members and the staff, because they were so well organized. They said, well, here's what we're doing and this is what we're doing, and we just want to basically tell you what it is. And there were only a few instances where you were able to sit down and really review policy direction with the staff. But he made major changes 10 years ago when he was there, and he completely reorganized it, and so now they had it going. And so I understand that, and so anybody who comes in would completely be part of a group that would look at things over again. But the group that's reviewing it, they had 6 or 7 people on the review committee, 3 staff members, and 3 commission members, and a professional, headhunter. So I feel pretty good about it. But yeah, Dennis had his final party on November 3rd.
Was it 3rd?
Yeah.
I felt bad I couldn't go.
And no one knows that. He may just be really retiring. I don't know. No one seems to be saying too much about that. But he's an accomplished guy. I mean, former mayor of Methuen.
Yeah, no, he's done a lot.
He's done a lot. So that's it, Concom?
I went home last night, as soon as I found out we had a quorum without me. But, the two things, one is the Turnpike, our friend. We haven't gotten anything from
Angelo.
them yet, but they are in the process of doing a more extended as-built. And I think Doug has gotten across to them that their variations from the plan are far more extensive than they were admitting. The other thing is just out of an interest's sake, we're shaking our heads about other things the state does to us. And our beloved Department of Environmental Prevention appealed a walkway that was designed to be built for handicapped accessibility through a nature trail at the elementary school. The nature trail right now, when you get to the wetland portion, there's a whole bunch of 3.5-foot square pallets. And of course, kids being kids, they're gonna walk off the pallets and their little feet are gonna be everywhere. This one has handrails. You know, the bad news is, because it's handicapped, it's 5 feet wide. DEP has a policy, not a directive, but a policy that they tell you about after you've already filed, that says you've got to be as high off the ground as you are wide. And that's so the sun can get down there. Now, of course, this is in the woods, so you don't get a lot of sun anyway. Making it 5 feet high would triple the cost of building it and make it a non-project.
Wouldn't it make it a little dangerous too? No?
With kids?
With kids?
Dangerous.
Were
Do what?
handicapped? Dangerous to
Well,
get that high?
conceivably, you'd have to have a different kind of handrail. At grade, you can have just a regular old-fashioned handrail. You get up there, you've got to get something that a ball won't go through, and hopefully a small child's head won't go through. You know, it's with those slats that are 4 inches apart.
Right.
That's a different level of protection, and that would kick in. That's why it's going to cost 3 times as much.
Yeah.
And so we had the site visit a couple of weeks ago, and Doug and I did the best we could to be as polite as we possibly could, and beating up on them to convince them just exactly how silly this was. And their solution, my drawing showed 1x boards on top of the stringers that were an 1/8 inch apart, which is kind of normal practice. They will approve it after all of this, as long as we make them a 1/4 inch apart. And we pay those people. Go from an 1/8 inch apart to a 1/4 inch apart, and now it's in conformance with.
Where is this,
the-
right behind the school?
It's, you know where the basketball court is?
Yeah.
Over near the playground.
Oh, okay.
At the end of the basketball court, you just walk down the hill, and you're in upland for a while, then you got about 75 feet of wetland, and then you come up behind the softball backstop.
So what is it, is a trail in and out? Is it a
No, it's just one trail.
one trail?
Well, you walk back, but you walk back
You trace
across
your
the
You
edge
trace
of
your
the
steps.
softball field,
Yeah.
or baseball, I don't know what they play there.
Baseball.
Baseball? Oh, okay.
John, what can we expect from Angelo next week?
Pardon me?
What can we?
I could not tell you, I don't know. I can find out and email you.
Yeah, 'cause I don't know.
Martha, she can email everybody.
Yeah, no, I
What
don't.
do you expect?
You know more than I do?
I don't.
Okay.
No, yeah, I think you know more than I do.
Well, we'll see Doug tomorrow, so
Right.
get the answer.
So, yeah, I thought I would touch base with Barry and just kind of see where they are.
Good idea.
and what we can expect.
Okay. CBA?
Nothing, meeting tomorrow night.
Okay. All right, then I will, and so I'll send you a note
Yes.
about going out to the Plum Island.
That's for next week.
Yeah, I think so. Well, gotta do it fast, right?
Yeah.
Because Thursday,
Next week.
everything
Oh,
closes
yeah.
down around 3 o'clock on Wednesday, you know? That was my memory of
What
it.
are you doing Friday?
Oh, we're here, I'm here, but you're not.
Well, I'm actually not.
Oh,
here
okay,
on
that's
Wednesday
right.
either, but,
So it's Monday, Tuesday?
Monday, Tuesday.
It's a good
Or the
Tuesday.
following week.
Yeah, that's a good Tuesday if that works. Might be a nice slow day. Do you have to leave Tuesday? Maybe Wednesday. Okay. All right, anything else anyone wants to bring forward for the good of the order or for just the heck of it?
Move to adjourn.
Move to adjourn. Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right.